Okay. I think we're.
Uh-oh, it says
Oh,
live.
yeah, we're live.
Oh, shit. I better go over and
Make
pop out of
sure
chat.
that YouTube isn't making me do this again.
That's what I always got to do now. Like, I go on and make sure that I didn't mess nothing up
Yeah.
going live. Like, I forgot how to do it.
Yeah. Well, before they made you, oh, not that. They made you, with Zoom, they made you type in the chat before anyone else could type. So I just always double check to make sure that they're still not doing that.
Why? Why'd I get?
They're retarded.
Why'd I
It
go to
was
my
like-
channel? I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know. Then I got to find my notes too about all the shit that I dug. This hotel's insane.
It is.
It is. That it is.
Well, and like it like when I was looking into it, the map that I sent you guys, I was telling Lisa, all of those places are on the haunted LA tour, and they're all within a mile walking distance from the Cecil. So they're all basically just a couple of streets away from each other. So I'm like, I wonder if this goes along the lines of Skeeter's thing.
Why'd I go to my channel?
Oh, shit.
It's weird, man. Like,
Imager.
it almost makes you think
Sorry.
there's like a common, like something that's like connecting all these things. I don't know.
That's why I said to Lisa, I think I'm going to try and do research of like the downtown area just to see if I can find out like if Indians were buried there or just something weird that happened.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like able to find anything specific except they're all like literally a mile away from each other.
See, that's what I found the problem. Like my Native American heritage. Like, you can only go so far unless you're on a reservation, and they got the rest of it.
Right.
like even when you do like I don't know what's those fucking websites where you send your saliva in so the Illuminati can make your clone.
Oh, yeah. Your
Like,
ancestry.
That's what
whatever.
Bill Burr calls them, the fucking websites that you send in your saliva and they'll make your clone.
Yep.
They can't tell you like what's in you, like as far as Native American wise, because that's not in their database. They can't scan that. So I don't.
Okay.
Oh God, you didn't tell me this trick was going to be on. I quit. I quit.
I feel the love between you. I feel the love between you two. I feel it.
It's a lovely.
What's he about?
Shut that shit up already. Fuck.
Oh, she got the evil laugh now, Bashful. I mean, Skeeter. Jesus.
He brings it out in me.
So, and then speaking of Skeeter, I found this link. I'll put it in the chat. It's about, apparently it's a old Native American burial ground that apparently the state of California is trying to dig up.
Yeah.
And like the natives started a petition on it. And I'm like, I wonder if that has anything to do with it, but I couldn't get the exact location of the burial ground. Like, I think it's in like one of the parks that they have.
I will definitely go down that wormhole because I do that like late at night. Like, my cannabis sessions is all conspiracy theories and paranormal. So like, especially me trying to get back in the gym and get in shape. I do great. Like, my diet during the day, everything's fine. Like, I fast, I eat raw foods, everything's great. And then Mary Jane's like, fuck it, dude. Have some candy bars and watch this shit. So
But when I was researching the serial killers that stayed there, the only ones that are really popular is the ones we know about.
Yeah.
But they do believe that the Zodiac, Eileen Wuornos, and Ted Bundy did stay there. They just didn't use their name. But nobody knows Zodiac's real name. So how would you even know it was Zodiac?
see, yeah, that gets into that folklore crap. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
It's so weird. Like, even like what I was talking about tonight with the Mothman, like, you can take something that's fact and it caused mass hysteria to where what's her name? the Lisa Lamb.
Yeah.
Like you take that Netflix documentary that comes out, then everybody's going to like start, I can say Johnny Cash shot himself in that hotel, and then it's going to spin into people believing that. And then you got to sift through all that and find. That's why I like synchronicity so much, and it drives me insane. Like that, because that's like, it's a real theory, a scientific theory.
Yeah.
And there's no way, no ends or buffs or whatever. It's a real damn thing. And it sends me into where I want to do a Twitch video for real. Like,
Well, even in the Netflix the documentary, they talked about that, about like how it's connected to some thing in China where her family's originally from, and
then her burial site, yeah.
right, and her burial
That's-
site, it was all the same numbers or the same linear line or
The
something like that.
the address of the library where she checked out the book, if you put that in as longitude and latitude, it gives you exactly where her burial site is.
Well,
It's
that's
like-
weird.
That is weird.
It plays into like synchronicity is the best way to like explain it in like layman terms, and the only thing I can relate it to is like people that believe in like we're living like a matrix, like everything that we do is already pre-planned, or we have, I don't know, if you dive in deep enough to these conspiracies, they start making sense, and then you're afraid of yourself. But like the whole Black Dahlia and Elisa Lamb, it's insane. It's insane at how all these synchronicities line up, and it's nuts. Like there's a list. I think I put it in my notes.
Hello, B lady. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, B lady.
Hey,
Hello.
B lady. Like both of their names derived from Elizabeth. They both were in their early 20s, traveling alone, using public transportation, didn't have no real plans on what they was going to do. Nobody really knew their traveling plans but them. They both was the same like age, like right around the same age, same body build. Both had like mental issues, depression and things. Then they both came from San Diego to downtown Los Angeles, and they both stayed at the hotel. Neither one of them was reported missing right away. Their bodies was discovered in crazy locations.
Right.
And like you add all these up, and it's like, okay, it could be coincidence. And usually that's what like statisticians and stuff write off synchronicities as like coincidences. But if you get a number of these, like these are just two of like the big cases we know about, because obviously one was found in a water tank, and the other one, we all know that crazy story, the Black Dahlia. But then you get into the list of all these women that have mental issues that stayed at this hotel, that crazy things happen to them. Like I don't know if this place is like some sort of like wormhole of like dark energy, and if you go there, it's going to bring out the worst in you, and it's
Okay.
going to grab a hold of that mental issue, and that mental issue is going to consume you, and you ain't going to like the outcome. I don't know, like, but everything I've read on it kind of seems like if you're just a little bit jacked up, there's going to be a lot of it.
Right, that's what I was thinking too. Me and Doris talked about that a little bit, and Bashful last week, the last week we did this, was like when you go there, even if you just have a slight bit of mental illness or you're a little bit depressed, it heightens it. Like this woman who didn't know she was pregnant just tossed her baby out the window like a fucking football, just like, and just had it there, like out the
Hard
window.
enough, Skeeter, that it landed on the building next door's roof.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
hard she threw that baby.
So she threw it legit like a football. See,
Like
that's
a
what I'm
football.
saying, man. That place, and then you have the rock star guy that they was trying to pin the murder on.
Right.
That wasn't even at the hotel at that time, but he had stayed there. His theory makes more sense to me than anything. It's like everybody that stays there, it murders you in some way, if not
Mhm.
literally in some way. A part of you like dies there, and I think there's like certain spots in this world. Like to me, like you got, okay, we know there's an infinite amount of universes with an infinite amount of black holes. Well, those black holes could lead to a whole other infinite amount of universes. You take that same theory that all these astrologers already know to be true for fact. Okay, if the same person that created the universe created Earth, why wouldn't there be wormholes like that? Why wouldn't there be like our black holes, our wormholes, like the Bermuda Triangle and these different places where the veil's really thin and things can go haywire? So I don't, I might be psychotic, but that's,
And what about
No, it does
It-
make you question.
right? And I was wondering, like, I wanted Skeeter's theory on because they say once you go past the 14th floor, that's what it's the worst. If you stay below them floors, you're fine. So if you go past them floors, that's when you experience the worst. Um, so what do you think that's about? Like the same theory? Like,
again, it's just one of those things. Like if you're talking about LA, it's like the whole section's like in a valley, kind of. And I don't know. It could be like a beacon of some sort. And then you got like most hotels don't have a 13th floor. So when you say 14th floor, it's probably really their 13th, but they call it the
Right.
14th.
I was gonna say, I think this hotel is one of those. It does have a floor that they don't count.
Yes, like I just want to change the outcome. Like it's like don't count the buttons. No, it's the 14th. It's like, no, dude, I'm pretty sure I can count 13. It's one of those anomalies, man. It's like it just drives you crazy because I don't know. I think there's so much energy going on around us because once energy is created, it can never die. There's so much energy going around us and the paranormal veil bleeding over into our reality and our reality like bleeding over into that reality. What is real? What is not real? What is a whole? What is not a whole? It's so, just from my personal experiences, it's so like paper thin sometimes. Like you can feel it. Like I can feel it in me. Like it almost, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's almost like the goosebumps feeling without the goosebumps. Like I feel it. Like when I took my wife down to Point Pleasant, just being down there, like I just felt something.
Almost like a spidey sense. That's
Yeah,
how I always described it. When you get that, like, it's almost like an intuition. Like, I think if
yes,
I do that, something bad's gonna happen. Or
mhm.
yeah. And usually, like when we do our paranormal investigations and do crap like that, there's like sometimes I'm like, yeah, no, man, we're like, I don't want to see the damn devil yet. Like I know I'm gonna see him sometime, but not yet. Like let's push off of it a little bit.
The Cecil Hotel and the Amityville house is very similar to me. And like the other day, I got a message and they were like, I know you guys are talking about the Cecil Hotel, but because the Amityville house is very similar to Cecil, I just want you to know the dude from Amityville, he passed away. The son that was in prison.
oh, Ronald, I think
hmm
his name was.
hmm They killed his whole family. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I'm not trying to sidetrack, but I am gonna for a minute. I still don't think he killed. I
yeah,
believe
I
his
don't
story that
either.
his sister helped him.
I was gonna
And
say I saw an interview with him, and
Mhm.
he said that um him and his sister went upstairs. He She told him that like the father molested her or something, or was
But the
abusing
thing
her.
was too, he wasn't even home. Like he said, he
Right,
felt that house have a bad presence, so he left. He
right,
was miles away from that home,
right.
and
And she
something
went
made
through and
him.
killed
It,
everybody.
right,
And when
something made him go back there that night. It wasn't even
yeah,
just his sister. Something made him go back there, and it's the same as the Night Stalker. I seen in an article I read where he said even if he attempted to not go back to the Cecil, something kept bringing him back there. And that whole hey Kathy Bates and that whole
hey,
story about
Kathy.
him running
Hey,
around butt
Kathy.
naked with blood on him or whatever, he said he don't remember any of that happening, but they told him it did happen, but he don't remember it.
Right.
See, like
I
now,
mean,
like we have
yeah.
one case in America. Like, well, there's only one of tons of stuff that I've looked at. There's only one where a ghost testimony gave a dude the death penalty and like they hung him. Like, so that falls into that. Like, look at the history of the Cecil Hotel, where it's at, and all that negative energy just charging. You're feeding this evil energy, and you go in there and you look, if you're a biblical person, you look at mental illness. Well, that's a demon that's causing that mental illness. Everything got a negative attachment to that. So you put yourself in these situations where that's getting fed, then you leave that. Well, that part of you's already in there growing, pulsating, wanting it, like an addiction, wanting that feeling again. And it's going to draw you back in. It's kind of my theory.
And B Lady, I would agree with you. But 2 years ago, me, Bashful, Gaffer, and I believe Warren was there for this live stream. We covered the real story of Emily Rose. You all heard about the movie where we dug into the real story. Emily is not even her real name.
Right.
And she, before going away to college, she was a good girl. It was a devout Christian home. They were Baptist. Matter of fact, I believe they like church every Sunday. We're in Wednesday night at church from like 6 to 11 o'clock at night, so I want to I get what you're saying, but then she went away to college, and with that story, it's very hard to determine whether she really was schizophrenic and need to be medicated properly, or if she really was possessed, because the two can kind of look the same.
Right.
And she did say, and in there, they did say that she was put on medicine and the medicine wasn't working. So, but we all know what medicine for your psyche and for your mental problems, there's a lot of times they got to be changed and elevated, and it doesn't always work right the first time. But she was sheltered, and it's kind of like Lisa Lamb. Lisa Lamb was sheltered. And that's kind of what I look at with Lisa Lamb and Emily Rose. It was kind of similar. The story was kind of similar, but the difference was Lisa Lamb had a history before she got to the Cecil Hotel of everything that we saw her do prior to her disappearing.
Right. But
Emily
she was
Rose
only
didn't have that history.
But she was only diagnosed like 2 years before, right?
Right.
Because I remember in her diary thing, her saying, well, now I finally know there's a reason for why I feel like I'm so different than everyone else.
Yeah, see, like the mental illness, that's a good point too, because the point in time in our history, like everybody was possessed. There was no mental illness. And like they would go through like these extreme links. Then you have like these crazy houses where they're like doing lobotomies and all these crazy, insane things where people probably just was schizophrenic, was bipolar.
I was gonna say either they were possessed or they were a witch. Like back in those days, if you were crazy, you were a witch.
And B Lady, she was petrified, and she fought whatever was in her, whether it be demonic, or she was possessed, or she was having a mental breakdown, whatever it was, she fought it to her last breath. So much so that the priest that was performing the exorcisms went to prison for her murder. So, and the archdiocese was just gonna let him go. They didn't want him talking about it, but he promised Emily he would tell her story. So that's what he did.
Why does everything boil down to a fucked up priest?
Right.
Like that's why, like the way I believe in God, and everybody argues over his name, whether it's whatever you want to call him, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, it's God, it's all of it. It's this different roads to the same route. Like, and to me, people say I meditate instead of pray. It's a direct open for me. Like I pull from different beliefs, and I have some Wiccan beliefs I believe in, some Christian beliefs I believe in, and if you read into the religion side of things, they're so similar. It's almost stupid that they fight. Like it's dumb. So then you force that onto an already mentally ill person. So that kid grows up, and this is pounded in their head. This is wrong. This is wrong. You shouldn't think this way. You shouldn't think this way. You shouldn't have these thoughts. You shouldn't act this way. and they go off into a Cecil Hotel or to a college or something, and they start having these thoughts, and they're already mentally ill. So now they're thinking they are possessed. There's something wrong with them. They think they're already going to hell or in hell, and it just feeds that mental state of. Next thing you know, they're found in a water tank on top of a hotel. Like it's.
Be lady, it don't matter what the Catholic Church said that instructed that after Emily Rose, they also instructed everyone not to perform exorcisms. Priests were doing it without the diocese knowing. It don't
Yeah,
matter
like you're
what
supposed to go
they
through the
instruct.
command.
Right. It don't matter what they instructed. If they feel they need, and don't get me wrong, I think the priest that gave Emily them exorcisms really thought he was helping her. I don't think he thought because just like Skeeter said, it was drilled in his head for years and years and years that what he was doing was right. And I truly think he thought he was saving her life when it ended very badly. And I have to, and don't get mad at me, B lady, because I'm gonna have a little attitude with your statement above. I have very close people in my life that suffer from mental illness every day. So for you to sit and chat and to think it's just so easy for them to rise above it, it's not that easy. And unless you suffer from mental illness or you see someone you love suffer from it, then you don't understand. It's not easy for them just to rise above it. And I'm going to say with Skeeter right here, I've seen Skeeter at some of his lowest points and it has scared me to fucking death. And he has come back. He always has come back, but you always are scared that one time they're not going to come back. It's a struggle for them every day. They fight every day. It's not, and it gets tiresome and it gets exhausting for them. So unless you suffer from it and you understand it, that statement is false. It's not just so easy for them to rise above it.
Yeah, with my combination of bipolar 1 and then CTE on top of that, and PTSD on top of that, like it's, I don't know. I've been on a good run for a long time. Like I had no manic, nothing like that. Like my manic is different than other people's manic. Like other people act erratically or anything like that. I I just usually want to like make myself feel physical pain to get out of the mental pain. That's kind of like my manic states. But
I
I
need
know
something the
it's
somebody
same
like
way.
that too.
So I experienced that too. Like it's easier to deal with the physical pain than have to sit and deal with like the mental pain because you can't really understand that part. But the
yeah,
physical pain you can understand and it's just easier to deal with.
yeah. It's like if I take a hammer and smash my wrist, it's like, okay, I don't got to think about this no more. Now my hand's crooked. Like,
Right. And if people think that people do that stuff out of like they just want attention and it's not. And for someone that experiences it, it's like it's hard to explain to someone like I'm not just doing this because I want attention. I'm doing this because I need to like get this release or I need to feel something different when I'm feeling at the moment. And
yeah,
then it's scary to talk to people about it because you don't want to be judged.
I believe Skeeter has told me that exact same thing. That exact same thing. He felt what was coming after him. I
you
believe you.
feel it, man. It's feel because to me too. Like I don't know. Like in my family, we have like a lot of sensitives and like mediums and empaths and things like that. And it's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain because you don't know. Even psychologists don't know what your brain or how it's functioning or why it's functioning this way. Or there's so much that we don't know, right? We spent all these years of doing it the wrong way. And we got things in our brain like DMT that's released. And what if these manic moments, psychoactive drug that's already in our brain, DMT is being released for a reason. And we think these people are crazy, but what they're seeing is real. You don't, it's so weird how, it's so weird how these things are.
B lady, how do you know I haven't felt it? You're just assuming I didn't. You don't know. I've been through it. I know. Trust me. I don't put it all out here like this, but I've been through a very rough time in my life more than once. So there was a few times I didn't think I was gonna be able to pull myself out.
I think it's the first time I ever said anything about my mental crap on the live stream. But yeah, the first time my wife seen my mental record, she said, "Oh shit, you are crazy." So, yeah. Yep, you got the documents now.
Hey,
Hey,
Gavin.
Hey, Gavin.
There you go.
I was raised Catholic. As an older woman now, I see things differently. The church isn't my higher power because it has flaws. My God, that's right. That's what aggravates me is that people confuse that. It's your faith. It's what you believe in, the God you believe in. That's the higher power, not the institute.
Yeah.
The institute,
Not the divisive unit. is
right?
what that is.
Exactly. You know, because a lot of times, and I didn't make it hate, but a lot of times they're there for their own selfish needs. Not always. You'll find a few that aren't, but and I get the church needs funding and donations to run, but if you have to hand around, especially in the Catholic Church, as aggravates me in the Catholic Church, if you have to hand around that collection plate more than once, more than twice, it's greed. You know what I mean? So you're there to serve God. You're there to spread His word. You're not there to fatten your pocket.
The thing is, it's humanity trying to figure out something that's divine with human solutions. It's never going to get nowhere because you're crossing two different things. Like humanity has put up divisive barriers of social class, religion, and all these different barriers. And we're so stupid. We'll just sign up for it. You know, Democrat, Republican, politics, everything. All these divisive units. And people think segregation's over. It's not. They hide it in other ways, and they get you to bicker and fight and trample over each other. And it's just, you look at this and it's like, that's what humanity is. So we
Easiest
have
way
a,
to was
we have a Bible that was written however long ago and had several different books in it that was removed by man, touched by man, altered by man, and you don't think it's corrupt. Like it's going to be. You're never going to find something divine that humans have touched that's pure. Just it's not there.
Can't think through what, B lady? All right, back to synchronicity. This hotel. I don't know how we went down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, right.
Because
Like
we started
even
talking
talking about
mental
it.
health.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
See what I mean? Even talking about Cecil Hotel, it launched us into a mental health discussion and started bringing out all of our fucking inner rage and we're all psychotic. We're all fucking head about the wall. Like just talking about it. So you imagine being in that building. Like I imagine if you put me in that building, I would break some records.
Hey Josie.
Hey,
Oh,
Josie.
I would love to go to the Cecil Hotel with
Me
Skeeter.
too.
Like they would probably, yeah, I'd probably either be in a padded room or a caged room. Because it's talking about, look, we were just talking about it. And you felt the energy change, talking about mental health and the Cecil Hotel, the energy changes. Like, so being there, I imagine if you're on that thin veil already.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I get what you're saying, B. Sorry, Skeeter.
but yeah, I just think there's so many theories that people will call conspiracies and just write them off. But then you have synchronicities and other things that are true scientific theories that people can't explain. Then it's like, we can't explain it, so we won't talk about it. Just like
Right.
everything else paranormal.
yeah, people don't like to talk about things they can't explain.
Right.
And
Yeah.
being someone that has to so it messes with my brain when I can't like find like
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have to know, like, I'm asking 600 questions because I can't just leave it undone. Like, I
Right.
want to know
Right.
why it happened. Like, I want to ask questions.
It's like a dog chasing your tail, like on a lot of these things.
Right. And that's how I felt when I was doing the research on the area of downtown LA. I was like, I just feel like I'm in a rabbit hole because I find more things. And then I'm like, but they all seem so connected. There's going to be a reason. There's got to be some type of explanation that you can explain, or whether it be paranormal or scientific or what have you.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kathy, like, yeah, most religions will tell you that the spirits ain't real. But
Yeah.
I got in this, not my current pastor friend, but my last one was an apostolic church. I brought up the fact that it is documented history. The story of Jesus Christ, almost verbatim, it happened over, I forget how many times before Jesus Christ was supposedly around. And I just brought it up to him. Well, you would have thought that I called his wife a whore and slapped his mother. He's like, no, it's blasphemy. I'm like, no, dude, that's documented history. I'm just trying to tell you my ideology, my way of thinking is you go to work every day, you use a certain route. So the higher power, if there's a higher power up there and God's up there and he wants to reach us, he knows the birth from a virgin, being dead and rising and doing all these things that the story of Christ was told before Christ came around. That's his way to work. He knows it's going to work. People are going to turn their heads and listen to that. So I think us as humanity, we put these barriers up to where it's like, okay, if you believe in God, you can't believe in this. If you believe in this, you can't believe in God. It's like, where's that law written down at? Who created that? We did. So it's I don't know. Like I said, man, it's just I believe my beliefs are so whacked out, but and then again, I can almost show you proof on why I believe the way I believe, but it's so far fetched that I hope my shrink wouldn't hear me say it out loud.
And JV, we're not really talking about Jesus. We're talking about the Cecil Hotel. And in doing research, each of us took a different topic. And we just found different connections that now we're discussing what we found and trying to have some type of explanation for it. Like why it happens, which is why Skeeter has joined us this week.
Because we're talking about mental illness. So let's get the craziest motherfucker we know and get him on panel.
The house my mother was born in, my grandmother died in, has their spirits in it. No one will ever convince me what I've seen and what I heard wasn't real. Now back to, I get it, Kathy, back to the church and the priest and the pastor to tell you spirits ain't real and blah, 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 blah. My church told me the same thing. And I love my pastor. I love him to death. He's down to earth. You could talk to him. He'll listen. You know, he'll give you, he may not agree with how you think, but he'll respect it. So when I had my little problem 2 years ago, well, it went on for like 2 years. They walked into my old place I lived before I moved where I am now. And I was explaining to them what was happening. And they looked at me again like I was crazy because spirits ain't real. All this ain't happening. And then they walked into where I lived to bless it. And my pastor and his wife, their face turned white. And it usually would take them about 15, 20 minutes to bless, and do it all properly. Well, it took them 5. And then they left. And then a week later, we met up at the park that was near where I used to live for my kids and their kids to play. And that's when my pastor's wife told me that it scared her and our pastor, because as soon as they walked in the house, their hair stood up on the back of their neck and they felt it like presented themselves to them as soon as they went to go to start to bless the house. I was like, oh, but it's not real. That's what I was saying in my head, but I wanted to be respectful. So
yeah, I've had a lot of trippy experiences, like people asking me questions about like dead loved ones and stuff coming to me like over the internet, even like not even being in the same state as a person, let alone the same room.
I witnessed a lot of it.
It's weird. It almost makes you think in your mind you're fucking nuts. But when you're starting to hit things on their head, it's like, okay, there's something going on around us that we can't explain. Like now they got, everybody knows what EMF is, the electromagnetic field.
Mhm.
Everything presents that. Everything has energy, will put out an EMF. Well, now the science is getting so good that they broke it down to an EDI, which I just got an EDI meter. It's EMF and EDI, it's all of it in there. But only human energy produces EDI. So the science is getting better to prove a lot of these paranormal theories and a lot of these I don't even want to call them conspiracy theories, because I mean they're at a certain point a conspiracy theory, that if there's enough people that's having it, it's not a conspiracy no more, it's a damn theory. We just don't got the scientific evidence to submit it. But now technology's finally catching up. Like I always use the example of, you take the early 1900s and you take the early 2000s. In the early 1900s, there was a lot more sightings of like this dude behind me. Now there's not. Well, why? Well, there's more cities built. There's more people. There's less room for things like this. So you got to get in Appalachian Mountains. You got to get in places where these things could possibly be. And are they from a different planet? Maybe. Is there a such thing like Middle Earth? Could be. But we don't have the technology to figure that out.
That is true, Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
Like when he was talking about that, the going through like the internet and from a different state and stuff. I tell this live stream story all the time, because literally me, this girl, Scottish, Lauren, we all were in his chat that night, and our fucking mouth just dropped. Like, because twice Skeeter had to. It wasn't unnormal for Skeeter to take a break when he was doing the spirit boxes, and but that night it was draining him more, and he didn't tell us what was going on at first. We had no idea what was happening. So he did my spirit box, and then he did Scott. There was one person after me, before me, one person after me, and then Scottish went, and then after Scottish, he stopped, because there was this little boy talking to Skeeter almost the entire night. I think he even said before he even put the spirit box on.
Yeah, I just start writing it down. Like
Right.
it was when I was
This was
trying to
the
do everybody else's, I had to
right,
jot dates and
right,
numbers and
right. And this, thank you, one SP. Hello. This was the freaky thing. This little boy's mother was in chat, but she wasn't typing in chat. We didn't even know she was there. She was just there lurking, listening to the stream. Never once spoke in chat. So Skeeter had to stop because it became too overwhelming for him. Like literally, you seen him turn pale. Like Skeeter, Scottish was like, Lisa, message him and see if he's okay. He's not gonna answer me right now. So, he started naming off names and the numbers, and this woman came in the chat that was lurking, and she was like, "That's my son. That's my son." And it even shocked Skeeter. You just seen his face, because she didn't speak in chat at all, at all. She not once that night, and we all were like, "Oh my god!" Like
and
it
it's
was, it was,
weird
it
when
was
things
weird
like
and
that
amazing to witness.
happen to me. Now me and that woman were friends on Facebook and Twitter, and like usually like if I let you on my Facebook, then that's, you know what I mean. Like that's
Yeah.
a lot of my family shit. But I can still remember the kid's name, Alex, and I can still remember the dates and all that. Like when it comes to me, like when I first met my wife and she asked me certain things about one of her loved ones, and it comes to you. It's almost like how I try to explain it is almost like how you hear that spirit box, like that, and words are shuffling through, and you got to kind of make sense of it. But then there's other times where it just like blasts you in the face, like you have no doubt what they're saying. And that was like one of those times. And I've never had that experience like over the internet where something just slams me and I'm like, holy shit. Like I don't know who this kid is, but I got you, dude. I'm like, we'll talk. That's cool.
Yeah,
Like
it was amazing to be there and witness it. It was scary because you seen him draining him, but we had no idea what was going on until he was like, I can't do this no more. And then he just started naming off the little boy's name and the numbers, and then that's when the woman spoke, and we were just like, oh my god.
yeah, I was
Like,
kind of the same way. Like I was like, okay, I don't need to take an extra psych med tonight. Like I was right. Or cool. Yeah, I was losing my mind for a minute.
Yeah.
That's why I don't
So,
like always go
uh,
around and say like, I'm a medium, I'm on this and that, because I don't.
mm,
I don't know. I just don't like to advertise that type of stuff. Now, can it happen sometimes for me? Yeah. Can I force it to happen? Yeah. But I I don't know. I always keep my crystal close to me because that's kind of like again, something I stole from the Wiccans. But in the Native Americans, I collide a lot of different things in what I do. Like especially if I'm going into like if we went to this, okay, we hit the lottery next week and we say, hey, we're going to the Cecil Hotel. I'm like, all right, cool. But what I'm going to do is a combination of all these different religions and rituals for myself, for inner cleans and outer cleans. So I can know I could walk in there, shake the devil's hand and walk right back out and be unscathed. Like there's certain things I gotta do mentally and physically to prep myself to do um, crap like that. And I don't know. We've been in some creepy places, and, I haven't.
but when you say you don't tell everyone that you're a medium, you can hear and feel things. I envision if you did Whoopi Goldberg in the movie Ghost.
Yeah,
So now I
yeah.
envision.
Only difference would be I would fuck Patrick Swayze. It'd be
All
a
right,
little
so
bit too many dirty dancing.
okay, so we had Dan and Jenna, like you said, like Doris said earlier, we all looked up different things for the Cecil Hotel for tonight. Dan and Jenna was supposed to look up the land because it would be easy for her because she's the closest to it. And she tried to look up the history of the land and whatever, and she couldn't find nothing. So what started aggravating me and Doris touched on a little bit, when you go to investigate anything with the Cecil Hotel, beyond the Cecil Hotel, it kind of, you can't find nothing. There's like a barrier. It stops you. And it frustrates the hell out of you because there's more there. We didn't know if it used to be a plantation that the Cecil Hotel was built on, or if it was an Indian burial ground, or that's what Dan and Jenna wanted to look into.
Right.
How far did you guys go back? Do you know? Like,
I
what?
don't
How
know how
far?
far
Like, what
Dan and
date?
Jenna went back.
I know I found information on like when California was originally settled.
Oh, okay.
There
We're
was
just
one specific tribe that were actually forced into like a slavery by the government.
sure. Yeah, that
They were
happened a lot.
promised land, and to pay
Hmm.
off the land, they were forced to work for people. Well, and they never ended up getting the land they were promised, but were forced to work because once they started trying to rebel, they were criminalized, and to pay off their criminality, they had to work even more
Yeah.
for the person they were.
See, the reason why I asked that is because when I was doing my synchronicity research on that, I went all the way back to 1888, and one of the most Aleister Crowley ended up being involved in some of the synchronicities. Aleister Crowley had like the Hermetic Order, I think that's how you pronounce that, and the Golden Dawn. And anybody knows who Aleister Crowley is, he was he was something. Yeah, I can't even explain to you who Aleister Crowley really is. You just got to Google it and then pray afterwards. But he created these orders, and himself didn't never stay in the Cecil Hotel, but he stayed at the Cecil in England. So, and then the synchronicities is the Hermetic Order ended up finding its way over to the Cecil Hotel. So if you take such a dark energy like that, that could have been the birthing, like 1888 could have been like the start of the insanity of this place. Like, I mean, that strong of a dark entity like an Aleister Crowley and his order making its way over. In my eyes, that could be like the biggest synchronicity. Um, it's yeah, I think if you link it back to anything to Crowley, I mean and they had Aleister Crowley had some sort of poem. It might be in my notes. Let me pull my note thing up.
Hello,
Or could
holy
it be
cow.
possible that they were drawn to that area because they knew something that we're just not able to find out on the internet right now?
Right. It could be one of those
There's so much
things.
that happened, not just at that hotel itself. Like Doris was saying, like around that whole area, like
Yeah.
there's so many different things that go on in that area.
Well, see, like
Mhm.
me being in film school and being in like cinematic stuff, like all these portrayals, like you'll watch a movie, like the easiest ones, like James Bond, he's talking to people on his watch, and now we got iPhone watches and Apple watches, and you can do that shit. Well, let's take a book like The Stand by Stephen King. I don't know if you guys have ever read that or not, but
Yeah.
how the devil settles in Las Vegas and God settles in Boulder, Colorado. Okay, so say Crowley's doing all this stuff in England. Aleister Crowley's doing all this dark, evil stuff, and he creates these orders. That energy could have been drawn there for whatever reason. I mean, like, look at all the sin that happens in Los Angeles. So could that evil power been drawn there to manifest to become stronger, then eventually take over that whole neighborhood and create it the way it is?
Right.
Right.
So that Tungiva that I put in chat, the Tongva, that was the name given to the Indian tribe.
Tongva.
And it was in the 1700s BC. Like, so it was like way back. Apparently they thought they were like Spanish Indian heritage. So a lot of them ended up learning, because they were brought over from the Spaniards, learning Spanish. So after a while they got mistaken for Mexican or Spanish.
See, that's bringing up a lot of our country's great dirty laundry.
Right. And that's why I tried, especially looking into them, because I'm like, is that what it's all about? Maybe because they were never recognized as what they truly were.
Yeah, I mean, because you take anger, and then you take any type of other negative energy, and it just keeps manifesting, and more people come there with more anger, and it just keeps building and building and building, and now all of a sudden you got this massive portal that's just going to take you literally on a hell ride. And damn, B Lady's done her research for sure. No, I don't have none of the tree bark creatures, but that's again, if you look into Pan, something else that I've stole, and which really, you guys got to watch Hellier. It connects all these things that's been in my head for years. It's insane, and that's
Yeah,
where,
B Lady was talking about that earlier.
yeah, it's nuts how I wouldn't even know what a synchronicity was until I watched Hellier. And it's like, oh shit, light bulb clicked on. It's like, okay, that's why I've always thought this way and always kind of seen things this way. And because I've always been the person, especially like when I was in the military and on deployments, a lot of people was like watching porns and wanking off or listening to music in their bunks. I was like reading different like spiritual books. Like I read the Bible twice, and I read the Quran, a little bit of the Quran, and I'd always delve it, just kind of find. At then I didn't know what it was called, but it was just a synchronicity. I was looking at, well, why do we as human beings look at other human beings and say, yeah, you know what, you're right. I'm going to give my soul, put my soul in your hands, and give you $5 in a collection plate and believe what you're saying. Why? What makes us do that? Well, again, it goes down to brain science, and nobody can understand the way our brain's wired and what it does. The best neurosurgeons in the world can't tell you why certain neural pathways open up at certain times for whatever reason. Trust me, I've seen a lot of them. I've had a lot of conversations that haven't locked me up yet, so I must have been on the right track. But like me, you take a person like me, I got CTE. So CTE is the concussion disorder, because I've had over 20 concussions in my life, right? So there's certain neural pathways in my brain. They explained it to me. They call them the white roads. There's white roads in your brain where energy travels and fires off different things. Well, there's certain parts of my frontal lobe that's damaged, and these pathways have kind of split and went different ways. Okay, so is that why I'm seeing things differently? Is that why I'm feeling things differently? Nobody can give me that answer. Like none of my doctors or nobody can give me that answer. Like it's because they don't know. They don't know. So it's just, I think our brain has a lot, whatever, to me, our brain has a chemical in it I cannot pronounce it. I can just the abbreviation. Everybody's, I think, probably has heard of DMT by now. We release it when we're born, or when REM sleep, and when we die. That's the only time our brain releases it, and it only releases it a little bit. And where a majority of that is stowed is your frontal lobe, and that's where I'm the most jacked up at. Is my frontal lobe. So, and I've took several psychedelics in my lifetime. My younger age, and do a little LSD, but it's almost like that is like the soul chemical, if that makes sense. I think that's the most thing that's attached to what we would call our soul, because like Ohio State has done studies on DMT. It wasn't outlawed in this country till like 2012, I think, is when they outlawed it. But like over 50 people took DMT, and like if you put 50 people and we all drop acid, we all take a hit of LSD, right? We're all going to go on a different trip. Okay. We're not going to experience the same things. It's all going to be different. But they took like over 50 people, dropped DMT in a controlled environment, and they all explained the exact same thing of everything's made up of shapes and lines and different vibrant colors, but numbers. Everything was numbers. And then they get through this space and time where they meet who they know to be God. They just know it. There's no pride. There's no human emotion. They meet who they know as God. And they have like a sit down session, and they come back and they did studies on these people. It completely turned their life around. Like these people, like if something was like kind of wrong in their life, it was completely all right now, because they went and had this moment with that. That's why I've always been like starving. It's like I'm 35 and father of 150 and married for 10 years. I'm not dropping acid anytime soon again. But if somebody says, hey, I got some DMT, I'll be like, babe, I'll see you in a couple hours. Like, I'm going to go do some shit. Like, because DMT is so intriguing to me, man. It's like the soul chemical to me. And I think that could be a key to unlock some of these things, like the Cecil Hotel, on why that energy is manifesting and why things are going on like they're going on in the Cecil Hotel, is because of this
I have another question.
weird thing.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to say,
Fine.
I forgot. I wanted to look up, and I didn't have time, and I forgot to message Doris. Thinking about this, and by far, I'm not making excuses for the action of these scumbag parents. I'm not. But you said in that map is all fucked up shit happened, right? How far from that map is it from where Gabriel and them lived?
Oh, I didn't even think about that, Lisa. Let's see.
See, it's like geological phenomenon too. Like I would over on my channel was talking about the Mothman and all that. And my whole thing, like the first episode tonight was dry because I wanted everybody to know the history of this land, because it's a geological phenomenon. Like, how does this one piece of land have such a history in the settlers and Native American War, World War II, like all these things, all this bloodshed and that clay down there. And the Native Americans already knew it to be cursed. Why did they know it to be cursed? Well, we're never going to find that out, because the white man came in and smashed the Native Americans and did away with all their learnings. So, I mean, you got to go to a reservation to get those answers. But it's intriguing, just like the Cecil Hotel. Is that another one of those geological phenomenons that it's just insane? If you're close or near, it's going to be crazy. We're getting raided by the Toy Man.
And thank you, Toy Man.
Thank you, Toy Man.
Thank you. This dude is not going to finish that shit on my watch.
Thank you. So, I know, Gaffer. I know. It scares me when I use my brain, and it makes sense. It scares me. I know.
Hey, Dimrack just wins. You got to learn how to be a good troll, dude. That type of troll get me track your IP address and fucking punch your mother in the mouth. So chill.
That is a top. Oh, don't worry about it, Seth. It's fine. It's just trolls. They're fine.
Yeah.
They gotta play too, just not here.
Yeah, they just want to come and look at me. I can say stupid things. It's like, it's okay. Your mother's your aunt. We get it. Go home. Thank your Aunt Mommy.
Synchronicity.
And go to bed.
Geographic. It goes back into the geographic again.
Yeah. That dude obviously was born in the geographical phenomenon. Like he was, his family tree's a fucking 2x4. So they get it.
Did you?
Yeah, it is 62 miles away.
Damn this.
Huh.
And they're coming back trying again.
So this is the
There we
map
go
that
again.
shows the difference between the distance between Palmdale and downtown Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
It's 62 miles. Takes an hour and 12 minutes by car.
That red line, right?
Yep.
That's a straight fucking line.
Yeah. See again, and this is right by like Burbank's a fucked up place to begin with. First of all, let's
Goes
go
by
ahead and
Pasadena, which is fucked up too, isn't it?
yeah. And then check this out. This is way off topic, and it's fucking stupid for me to point this out. But Jason Voorhees lived there. You see Crystal Lake?
I did. I saw that too.
Fucking cinema, man. I believe sometimes cinema shows us crap. It's cinema or literature or anything. Like it's, I don't know, man. There's just so many weird synchronicities. Like, and then I also believe, say like right now, all four of us on panel, we wanted to create an urban legend. We wanted to create a story. Well, we put the energy out there. It's going to go somewhere. And then if enough people start believing it and putting energy behind it, I 100% believe we can create our own demon, our own urban legend, and our own, because we thought it into existence. And I think
so too. I agree.
Again, it's another crazy thing that our brains do. It's almost like women and your guys' periods. It's just a weird sync up. Telling you, man, human beings are crazy, especially if they come with milk and eggs already in their body. It's weird.
Oh my God. Wow. That's a good one.
It is. That was a good one.
That's a good one.
That had to hurt you, Bashful, to admit it.
No, it did. I wouldn't have if I wasn't just chill right now.
Feels a good for marijuana.
But yeah, Lisa, I'd never even thought about that. And that line was straight.
Yeah.
The direct route.
Mm-hmm.
Geological phenomenon. That's another thing that Native Americans was so in tune with. They just knew. How did they know? It's like they were so in tune with what was going on around them and the earth. And you look at like things like the Serpent Mound, and you look at other things that was the pyramids and all these different crazy things that was built way before the technology should have been there. How and why? And I think it's because it's before humanity come through and started to get our filthy hands on everything. It was pure. They just knew. Like,
all right, hold on. B Lady wants me to get this picture to show you guys. Let me go get it.
Man, where's all the trolls coming from tonight? They're coming out full force.
I don't know. They need attention. They feel lonely.
And Christina might have been right. Maybe they heard you talking about that DNT and they want some.
They might be on it right now.
They might be on it. That's for sure.
All right.
If they think we really give a shit what they have to say.
Did I just say Team Magic Mike? What the fuck did I say? I gotta go back and look because now I'm intrigued. You're gonna bring out the old me when I start fucking with them now. What did they? Was that Team Magic Mike? Please say it was. No, it was Team Martin Matt. Damn it. I thought it was Magic Mike. I was really about to have fun. Get all the letters pissed off at me. Like that was, you about walked into a setup there. Well, I don't know why they're coming in. Maybe because we're touching on some shit. We're touching about crazies. We're talking about crazy people.
It's that
bringing the crazy out.
What is it? What is that thingy? That
Diromethrotryptamine, DMT. Is that what you're talking about? I think I said that right. I don't know. Don't kill me, Joe Rogan.
Doris, I'm gonna send you the picture that B lady sent me.
Okay.
But there got to be like a certain part. Like technology is going to catch up. I firmly believe like technology is going to catch up and answer a lot of these questions. For Christ's sake, we got a space force, and that's literally a military branch. Like, what in the hell's going on? I never thought that I'd see that, but I think technology is going to start to catch up. Here's Magic Mike coming in, but technology is going to catch up and start answering a lot of these questions for us. I think. Um, and another oddity to me is we know more about space than we do about our ocean. Why? That's so that's weird.
That is kind of weird.
So now we've connected. I can't believe you thought of that, Lisa. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just popped in my head like.
Connecting Palmdale with all that shit.
That Wi-Fi, man, I'm telling you, like-minded brains and apparently vaginas.
Got it.
Oh no, I think my cycle's getting ready to start.
You men got one. I don't know why y'all pretend like you don't.
Right?
I blame mine
Yeah,
on my
PMS too.
hormone growth hormone stage where mine is just built up fucking roid rage. But now we got a gym right down the road, so I can go break stuff, and it's cool.
Nice.
Where the hell did it go? I just downloaded it.
The only bad part is I figured out being 35, I cannot work out like I used to. My arm was stuck in a curl position for 2 days. My left arm, like I was leaning up against walls and like trying to get that left arm to break loose. I'm like, ah. My wife's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. My arm won't fold out. I've never had this happen before.
I'm gonna go back and see what happened.
Teleporting from the past, that's a whole nother thing, Stroker. Like, okay, so you look at evolution, if you believe in evolution, okay, and we came from chimps. So what if like all these UFO and all these other gray men sightings and things like that was just us? We evolved to that in the future, and now we're coming back and warning and trying to fix things. It's weird, man. Once you get in these weird, because there's a lot of what ifs, and nobody can say yay or nay on them. It's just a
So
bunch of
does
what
that mean
ifs.
the world's really coming to an end because we finally are starting to figure it out? Is that
No,
what
I don't.
happens?
I think this world's going to be around a lot longer than any of us. I mean, humanity in general. I think we will do something stupid and end us, and the world will be okay. It'll just wipe the board and recreate again. Like I don't think. And again, what happens? You know, it's easy to say when you die you go to heaven or hell.
Hey,
To me,
Lily
that's
Tall Girl.
an easy way out because you don't know the answers. There's nobody you can ask. You know what happened when you died. There's nobody you can ask that to. Other humans can come up with their theories and their interpretations, but could it be just slip into uh, another reset, like these near-death experiences and Mandela effects, them things? My God,
I got it, B lady. I just sent it to Doris. Holy cow, girl. Dorito.
hello, Dorito,
Dar.
Dar, holy cow.
Hello, Dora.
They done pissed off. They done woke up the beast.
They don't even know what they've done.
Hey, Texas.
Mhm.
Da,
So
da.
Doris just got a picture of the tree that B lady wants you to see, Skeeter.
Oh, and the
No, she's gonna share it with all of us.
oh, okay. Is it the off the Crowley thing? So we're looking at.
Yes,
That
I
is
had a
B
very good
Lady's
feeling. Yeah.
tree,
That's her tree.
I guess. Yeah.
Holy fucking shit!
When Skeeter we're talking about.
Oh, kind of like you can
Do-
see
Do you
the
see it?
face,
And
the
You're
ears, the nose.
you're in the
Is
right.
that-
Yeah, you're in the right spot for sure. Like that is again, man.
Do you see it, Lisa?
That's another
Yeah, I see it.
phenomenon. I definitely, that is,
Bashful, do you see it?
No, I can't get over there right now.
we'll take another motherfucking puff and look.
Shut up. Let me hold on just 1 second. I'm coming.
Damn, that is amazing. I wish I had something that close to me. I'd be out there with an axe trying to figure out. Neighbors, but don't mind me, man. The National Lampoon Shitter's full. It's
The lady
God,
said
that
that
is-
is our protector dragon in our front tree.
it's definitely because it's white. It gets that white glow. You know,
so that's
um,
protection, the white.
usually, yeah. I mean, looking at that, there's nothing menacing. I mean, you look to the, it'd be our left looking at this thing,
Mhm.
where that left eye socket would be.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
believe in that theory, yep, right there. It's almost like a pearl, like a pearlish glare. And that's supposed to be a purity. Now you go down to the right where that hole is, in that dark, how that's dark right there.
Yeah.
If that whole face was dark like that, you would want to dig that root up and get rid of that tree. But if you go by the theory and the teachings of Wiccans and different other religions that's adapted that belief, that would be a protector. Yeah.
Gavin, I'm going to ask you this once because I do have a tiny issue with you that I'm trying to ignore right now. So I'm going to ask you once. You may not believe it in what we're talking about, but I ask you to be respectful because there are people that do believe in it. Thank you. Dorito said my protector dragon is a 357. He spits a big old flame. Oh boy.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's a good, that's a good old American protector there. But there's so many phenomenons, man, like that there. Nobody can tell you for sure if you're right or wrong. Why is that? Nobody can tell you because it's a phenomenon that we can't. I think technology is going to eventually catch up to a lot of stuff that our ancestors already knew, and it's going to take our dumbass $1 trillion in 100 years to find out.
Oh my God, Ken. Said I told you to keep that picture of my mom. Jesus, Ken. There goes Seth kissing ass again. Ken, I'm wearing red. Joe Basher reporting for duty. Let's have fun out there. Mods hand out timeouts at will. Oh, thank you,
Oh,
Will.
of course.
Nice.
By the time you fucking do your job.
Your fearless leader has spoken.
You
Research.
had to research way back about these things to learn about them.
It is like if you start go down the rabbit hole of Pan. That'll teach you a lot about like nature and the natural phenomenon and how the Wiccans believe in Pan and what Pan stands for. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I don't like throwing my ideologies out there on crap. I'd rather like point people there and be like, okay, you create your own and see if we're on the same page. And if we are, then it could be true.
Okay, Gavin, but some people do follow it and they are strong believers of it. You just got to be respectful of everybody's beliefs. We're not asking you to believe everything we're talking about. We're not asking you to say you agree. The point is to ask questions and to let us know what you think, but to do it in a respectful manner. That's all we ask.
I'm one out of 1/16 Irish, and I don't believe in leprechauns. That's about
So
as
why the
how.
fuck do you call me one?
Yeah.
And that's my pot of gold. You liar.
I was just pointing out the similarity of the comment. Like,
Waiting to see that pot of gold.
Skeeter, when the sun sets, I'm inside out here. Oh Lord, be lady. You know I love you, Wolfie. Kathy said, I may not agree with what you say, but I respect your right to say it. Who knows? I could be wrong. That's right. We could be wrong too. So all we ever ask is that everyone be respectful to each other and each other's beliefs. We're human beings. We're all not going to like each other, agree with each other, believe in the same things, but be respectful of other people's beliefs and thoughts.
Right. I mean, I hate Bashful to my like center of core. You know, what I mean, like
Yeah, I hate you too.
I just hear that name. Any names that start with H.
You know why
now.
you hate me? Because
Like-
I'm funnier than you are.
I don't know where it stems from, but I do know. Like now, I've noticed anybody's name that starts with an H. I'm just like, "Ugh," you know what I mean? And it's all because of that because of bathtubs and like I can't anymore.
I'm not just talking about you guys. I'm talking about everybody, not just you, darling. Don't take it personal.
Yeah,
So
that's true too, B Lady. I believe in a little bit of that.
I've never been so happy to be disliked by somebody.
This trick was 11 miles down the road from me, and still didn't want to meet me.
yeah,
So-
she kept saying, Lisa, I'm gonna meet up with Skeeter before I move from here. Me and him are meeting up. We're gonna stream together. Blah blah blah. Bashful happened to meet up with Skeeter. I know, Lisa. I was like,
My brother is moving up there.
Yeah, I'm still in the same spot, even more rooted in now.
It's more rooted in.
you're such an asshole, Wolfie.
I couldn't do the
Always-
whole Indiana thing. Phew. It's too cold up there. People are not nice.
So, what have we come up with the Cecil Hotel? Because we just went everywhere. I mean, it's an interesting conversation. I really enjoyed it, but
I even like I'm still looking up Gabriel Fernandez.
yeah, I
Um,
think you can go on for like months and months talking about this and the whys and
like
the how
the
comes.
connections and everything like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Even bringing up the Cecil Hotel, I think the bigger question is why did the Cecil Hotel make us start talking about all this? Because
Right.
it wasn't in none of our heads to talk about this crap until
Well, I send you down a rabbit hole and around in
Yeah.
a circle. And
I think it's just one of those insane phenomenons that eventually
When I
we'll
was doing
catch
my
up to it.
research about the Cecil Hotel, I saw the Cecil Hotel Skeeter was talking about earlier. And then I believe there was another one in France. There was 3 of them at first. One of them closed down. And now there's only 2 Cecil Hotels open. The one Skeeter was talking about and the one in California. So, and they don't give you much reasoning behind why the other one closed is Doris. But I don't know.
Yes.
Another thing I wanted to share in case anybody wants to check it out.
Little
This
Dar.
is a YouTube channel. The kid lives across the street from the Cecil.
Right.
And he's done different live streams where he's just like focused his cameras on the Cecil Hotel. Just to see like, and he'll do like overnight live streams. And
Right.
apparently like people have seen shit happen
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah,
hotel,
that-
like windows
That
open,
one
lights
Doris
turn
is
on.
talking about, they actually seen the light on in that room outside that they were talking about in the Netflix documentary,
Mhm.
and there was nobody there because the hotel's closed.
Right. And his latest live stream, because since I found him, I've been watching some of his live streams. He said that they've just started working on it to reopen it, but they're still under construction.
Right.
So
It's
he's
opening
like,
soon
right.
because Rosie O'Kelly went there and they got the little barriers up.
Hmm.
No one can go near it because they're getting ready to do the grand opening. And Rosie O'Kelly went there at night. If y'all don't know who Rosie O'Kelly is, you gotta check her out. She's fucking awesome. I love her. But anyways, Rosie O'Kelly went there live streaming at night. There was a bunch of people around them barriers because they know it's getting ready to open. So she went to walk down Skid Row because in her live stream she said Skid Row is Skid Row. It is what it is. But since the Cecil Hotel is about to open, she said it has been like chaos, worse than usual, down in Skid Row. Now, we talked about and we showed you how close Skid Row is to the Cecil Hotel. So she said, as it's getting ready to open, the activity, the violence, the craziness, everyone that's living there is getting, it's just insane there. And as she's live streaming and telling us this tourist pulls up on Skid Row. At first, she thought it was another junkie fighting another junkie. No, he was a tourist. Because if you don't know Rosie O'Kelly, she gets that. She don't care if she's asking. So she's in the middle of Skid Row. People are going crazy. This tourist gets fucked up. Like you're seeing this on her live stream. He just gets pummeled by this other guy that was on Skid Row. And what had happened was he had turned his camera on and was trying to film this individual in his tent asking him questions. And because he didn't ask permission and he wouldn't turn his camera off, dude beat up this other dude, the tourist. And I was just like, oh my. And then Rosie almost got chased down by another chick because she was filming. And again, if you don't know Rosie, you got to go check. She was like, calm down, girl. Ain't nobody filming you. I'm that way. Nobody wants to film you. And she's blah, 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 blah. And Rosie's wishing she would put her hands on her. And yeah, it was insane. And she said, this is how it's been 2 weeks. For about at that time about 2-3 weeks, and it's them getting ready to reopen the Cecil Hotel.
That should be a red flag right there. Like you get ready to reopen, and all this energy's manifesting itself. Like,
and the link that I just put in is a map that I found that shows where all those Taniga natives lived around the downtown LA area. Like it shows where they all different settled.
And if you guys want to go check it out, if you have Discovery Plus, a lot of cable providers ain't charging you for Discovery Plus if you have a Roku or streaming TV, or you can look them up on YouTube. Once again, Ghost Adventures was there in the Cecil Hotel. They did do an investigation at the Cecil Hotel. You can see it. I started watching some of it on Discovery Plus, but you can also find
on YouTube, just FYI.
Right. And it's also on YouTube. Yep. So you guys can check that out too. There's lots of paranormal stuff going on. A lot of people have talked about it. The only one I really watched in there was Ghost Adventures with Zach and them. And I know a lot of people have their issues with Ghost Adventures and whatever, but you can, if you like them, go check them out. If you don't, there's other places you can go check out.
Yeah, that one, it was decent. They do bring in a medium that they've worked with in the past. So if you're familiar with the Ghost Adventures, you probably are familiar with her. But they did bring in a medium with them. So
I would just love to see Zach with Chip Coffee. Can we get that just for one episode? Those two characters, Zach ripping his shirt off trying to fist fight Spirit, and Chip Coffee's like, you know what he just said about you? I'll tell you if you want me to tell you, but he said you can take your D and put it in his A. It's like I love Chip Coffee. I think it fucking kills me.
Hold on 1 second. Dorito said there was a homeless dude on Hollywood Boulevard and Highland that stabbed and killed a lady for taking a picture and not paying him. Happened years ago, and it was on the news. I used to see him a lot. That's
that was another rabbit hole that I started finding myself going to, trying to look up the violence and the murders of Skid Row. Oh my God, I gave up on that.
Yeah,
because there was just.
If you go to the Cecil Hotel and you try to talk to the homeless people around there and try to get stories from them, be prepared to pay them money because they expect you to pay them money.
Right, they do.
My ass ain't going down no damn. I lived in a Skid Row. Fuck that. I ain't going home.
Right, and like
I know how those people think they're wired. Yeah. I'm good.
Yep, and that it's just crazy. Like just the whole situation there, and like we talked about, it's just insane.
Hey, B Lady, you might have to try to put that the same link and comment on the newest video. I tried to click on the last one, but it wasn't there. So I tried to check it out.
Yeah, Ken, that's Mugzee's usual. He said,
Yeah, well, we're getting
I
ready
think
to
I've
start. We're getting
slacked off
ready to
enough.
start the shenanigans stream anyways,
Yeah.
and then he can come up and talk his shenanigans about his ghosts.
So yeah, once again, we talked for over an hour on the Cecil Hotel, and like Skeeter said, apparently the Cecil prevented us from coming to any conclusions. So
Well, I don't think there's any conclusions to come to.
No.
Like, I don't think we're ever gonna really know. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just a thing.
right,
you
a
know?
lot of it's just so unexplained, and
Right.
Yeah.
especially where like none of us have like been there firsthand,
Right.
so we can't really say.
And where it's located makes it difficult too, because it's on Skid Row. And even the manager that was in the documentary on Netflix, there's only so much he's allowed to talk about.
Right.
Because she's even stopped from talking about what she really wants to talk about, because she's not allowed to talk about it, and they'll drag her ass in the court. You know what I mean? And now this billionaire just bought the Cecil Hotel and is doing all these renovations. For the life of me, I'm not fucking with that roof, okay? I don't care if you believe in paranormal or not. That's bad juju. Like, I'm not putting a pool on that roof where a woman was floating in the fucking water tower. I'm not.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and a workout. Like, I'm gonna no.
Thank you, B-Lady. If this man is standing behind you making you a cup of coffee, I'm gonna walk to whatever Dakota you're at and slap the shit out of a Sasquatch Mexican.
And I just put in a link of a map that I found of different hotels and I think state buildings that are all up. Skinny, you better start walking, because that mofo even delivered it.
Oh my God, this
Delivered
dude,
it.
man, Jesus Christ, we gotta have a conversation, brother. You can't be
But
treating a
on
woman
that
like
map,
that.
it's all hotels and buildings that have had the same similar histories to the Cecil Hotel from the time they were built to, and some of them have even done the same thing the Cecil did and changed their names to try and get away from their histories.
Yeah. Change the name and put up a new painted coat. None of it ever happened.
Right.
Come on.
Dorito said, yeah, this guy carried a sign that said, I need money for fuel for my spaceship. And then he flip it around and it would say, fuck it, I need a beer.
That's
Oh my
genius.
God.
I'd give it new 50
Skeeter,
bucks.
Mugzee, that is not a ghost cam. And it's not a ghost that you're seeing on that camera. It's your white ass, okay?
Wolfie, Mark handed that over a long time ago, honey.
He just made her a cup of coffee, then went back to his corner like, is that what you need, ma'am? Okay.
That's because he knows in about 10 minutes we're all going to be going,
Yeah,
Spider Monkey, Spider Monkey.
there's no way. Like, listen, me and my wife's been together 10 years, and this is how we do it. She makes me chase for tail, so I make her chase for good things. Like, you want me to make you a coffee? I got a proposition. Like,
Yeah.
we
Mark,
trade.
even Beanie, that's what you call whipped.
Look at him, he's over there right now. Like, I'm
Shaking his
sorry. Did you get enough? Get enough cream and sugar in that cup of coffee?
Was it the right rational?
Yeah.
Rash
I just
ratio?
fucking handed her a cup of coffee, and y'all talking like I'm whipped and shit.
I never said whip. I said it was just sad.
I don't even think any of us heard her even ask you for a cup of. He's on our wavelength.
No, he asked me, did I want another cup of coffee? And then he asked me to hand him my cup.
He's on our wavelength, Skeeter. That's what it is. He knew telepathically that she needed another cup of coffee.
Yep. She blinked twice, and he's like,
She
she blinked twice. She's like, see.
Myself white.
Poor Mark.
Caucasian.
All right. So we should probably start the.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the shenanigans
Before we
already started.
start-
So thank you
say,
for being here with us. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. I know we could keep going and going and going, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Freedom. Fuck you.
So, if you guys want to hear more discussions like this with Skeeter, just leave me a comment at the bottom of this, message me, whatever, and we'll try to work it out. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll be back in about 5 minutes to start the Roundtable Shenanigans stream. I do not know if Skeeter will be with us for that.
Yeah, I'll hang
So
out a
thank
little
you.
bit.
Nice.
Yay, Skeeter gonna be with us. Okay. I always get excited when he's here. Skeeter, yep. She gave the oh my God, B lady. All right, so we're gonna end this and go to the shenanigans stream. I'll see everybody in about 5
And
minutes.
Wolfie just said, "Oh shit, Mark has reached the flow conspiracy level. He's one of them, Skeeter."
He's transformed. That's it. He got it. It's in his blood now.
It's geographic, Wolfie. You missed the whole geographic talk.